And I always tell managers, if you get a low score on that item, you should be scared to death, because the scariest thing for a manager is having the people who work for you being afraid to tell you what's going on. Eventually, this will trip you up, and you will be in trouble. One area that is sometimes difficult for managers to handle in terms of communication is dealing with employee concerns. And we're going to spend a little bit of time on that. I remember in my own first management job, one where I felt like I'd been dumped in the tub of ice water for a while, one of the oddities was that, one day I said I was the person asking the questions, and the next day I was the person answering the questions. People can bring you concerns about a lot of things. Sometimes they're easier to deal with, like questions about, resources or equipment or something. Sometimes they're harder to deal with. They're about coworker relationships or things you may feel a little uncomfortable handling. Sometimes they're about people in other departments. Any problems with the work, managers get employee concerns a lot. So we want to just review some guidelines for how to handle those concerns well in your supervisory role. So let's just run down this list of guidelines. The first is you certainly want to give the person your attention. When somebody comes to you with a problem, this is not when you want to be, looking at your iPhone or turn into your back and forth from your computer screen. You need to stop whatever you're doing and look at the person and sit down and listen to what they're saying. Sometimes people tend to go on and on and on about their problems, and if that's what they're doing, here's a way that you can kind of focus them. Somebody's going on and on, you can say, let me just stop you there, because I think I've got a pretty clear view of what your concern is. What I need to know is, how can I help? How can I be of help with this? And that question often will get them to focus. You don't want to jump to conclusions. You want to explore the situation and ask questions, to understand it. You also need to understand, and this is important for supervisors and managers, you need to understand the difference between empathy and agreement. You want to be empathic to what the person is saying and show understanding, but you don't want to agree with them when you don't know the full situation yet. So, for example, there's a difference in saying, well, if Jared in marketing, has been late getting you that information, that would certainly be a problem. It's different from saying, Jared is just such a slacker. He never does anything right. Or those people in marketing, they just don't care about what we do. You don't want to agree with a problem until you are sure. You want to be understanding, but use a lot of, if that were true, that would be a problem. Because you need to remain neutral until you've heard all sides. And this is certainly true when you have coworker differences or coworker squabbles. And another thing that's very true is you can't assume it's okay to talk to other people. I certainly learned this, and I think it was my second management job where I had some administrative assistants who weren't getting along